Alex Pereira has officially taken everything Adesanya has ever worked for.
That's all good. I mean, it's like, what does it come to daddy? It's like, nigga, last time I checked, you were fucking slept.
Last time that I
Shut the fuck up. Know your fucking place, trash.
That's right, this weekend, this man Alex Pereira came out looking like the main protagonist about to take on the final boss. Or he was the final boss with some of this camera work. This shit was cold. Slightly early stoppage? Maybe. But you know what? A win's a win. And I know Adesanya couldn't get a win at light heavyweight, despite Joe Rogan trying his absolute best to persuade everyone he was winning against Blachowicz.
But he is getting outstruck, and this is not the best opportunity for him to win.
But hey, at least there's a certain Brazilian out there that can beat Blachowicz. Also, what's with Joe Rogan ruining Pereira's Adesanya call-out? You're that worried for Adesanya you had to cock-block Pereira and then set up your man's heel back in the title picture.
Hey Adesanya, come to daddy.
You're talking about Israel Adesanya to come to light heavyweight. Now, Jamal Hill is here. He will be next for you. Give us your thoughts on that.
Like, when did Joe become the UFC matchmaker? You couldn't just let Pereira have his moment after months of listening to Adesanya flex about him beating him. You know, out of 4 attempts anyway. And you already know that guy Adesanya the type of guy to spam you with messages until you rematch him.
And this time when I put you on skates, I'm gonna leave you frozen like Elsa.
Just till he wins, and then that's when he conveniently doesn't want to play anymore.
Oh, you don't want to run it back. So you like to win one game and just dip. That's the kind of man you are?
Nah, you just gonna have to hold that L, buddy.
Go ahead and sit back down, big fella. We got troopers outside. Yeah, we know this ain't your first time, boy.
But I'm not gonna lie, Adesanya saying rent-free to Pereira's call-out is pretty funny, considering this is the same 34-year-old man that held, you know, a 7-year grudge against a 5-year-old that made fun of him for losing. And then after his most meaningful win in his career, first thing he did was make fun of a crying child because his dad just got knocked out. What a cool guy. But these are all parts of the reasons for why everybody loves Alex Pereira and everybody hates Israel Adesanya. Though, to be fair, there are still some Adesanya fans left out there still delusionally fighting alongside him. There's honestly something so satisfying about how Adesanya has the last win over Pereira in such a brutal fashion. Pereira and his entire fan base just can't sit with that idea. It eats them alive. Enjoy this clip of Izzy laughing at Alex. Like, I don't know how Adesanya fans don't realize this, but everyone's kind of laughing at him because how delusional he's being. It's not like they're tired or anything. We've literally seen him lose 3 times to him, and he just got schooled by Strickland, whom, by the way, Pereira actually beat already. But, you know, who's keeping score, you know?
I don't keep score, I settle them.
Even though the Adesanya fan stock is just plummeting more and more each day, you know, besides for the people that don't watch UFC but are fans of him somehow.
Okay, now, he's like, he's crying because he's like, my dad's dead. He just, and his murderer fucking points at him and makes fun of him.
I'm on the fence now.
You're kind of left with the most insane hardcore Adesanya fans, you know, fans saying to support him when he's guilty of a DUI. Even the Australian crowd are cheering on the American as he's clowning him for jerking off his dog.
I live a good life. I do fucking good things. I'm not jerking my fucking dog off, swearing allegiance to China, shitting on my ex-girlfriend.
Granted, I get it's not New Zealand, but, you know, it's the closest you're going to get. And also, at this point, who even knows what his home country is at this point?
I love my Brazilian fans. Even when I was out there, they love me. The favelas love me. They can relate to me. They understand what I've been through.
That's like the contrast of Nigeria, man. You have dirt poor, and you have well-off, like Lamborghinis, like people living nicely.
Those are all the guys
I grew up on this side.
Yeah, honestly, so relatable, man. I bet you all the people in the favelas are just sick to death of being stuck in traffic with all the Lamborghinis around. And there's so much more you can even go into with this man. I mean, being fake, growing a breast, boring fights, excuses, trying so hard to be cool, dog playing the victim, race baiting, and his cringe one-liners.
Get one shot, do not miss your chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime.
He was literally 0-3 against Pereira when he said that shit. I'm gonna leave you frozen like Elsa. Just you're gonna TKO me one time before I do it. And for any of the remaining Adesanya fans that are watching this and they're gonna maybe comment, yeah, I'll never say this to his face or whatnot, fair enough, you know. I wouldn't say it to his face because guess what? He's gonna have to find me first, like Nemo. Also, I'd just never talk to someone that I don't care to talk to. I'd never talk shit about someone and then randomly just become their best friend when I see them in person. I mean, who would do that? So yeah, there's a lot of reasons that people don't like this man, which a lot of videos have already covered, so I don't want to get too into it. I want to keep this to Adesanya Pereira rivalry related, which, speaking of, in comes Pereira.
Holy shit.
Now, sure, the hardcores knew and they know their stuff. For the casuals like me and you, we just knew of this guy as the guy that beat Adesanya in kickboxing. Don't lie. But just in 11 MMA fights, this man has become a 2-division champion, fan favorite, and Adesanya's kryptonite. And honestly, couldn't come at a better time. Just as everybody was getting sick of Adesanya, Pereira came in and saved us all. To be fair, he did kind of drop the ball with this one, but who would have thought someone would be so happy to be 3-1 down?
I did 4 times, but I got it done just with 1.
So since Adesanya won't do the trilogy fight, what can Pereira do? Help out Strickland to school Adesanya and take his belt, and then he himself move up to light heavyweight, and both of these men gatekeep these divisions from Adesanya ever getting a belt again. If he wants to get his hands on a belt again, he better move up to heavyweight. And I don't fancy his chances against Aspinall. And I guess he's not going to fight John Jones since they're best friends now after all the shit talk he said to him. But you know what? I may be hating. Valid hating, mind you, but it's hating nonetheless. And there's this thing with MMA fans nowadays where they'll accuse fans of, in this case, Pereira fans, only being fans of Pereira because they hate Adesanya. Because, of course, Adesanya fans can't comprehend why anyone would dislike this man.
This is the type of shit that I love about the UFC.
And the truth is, these things aren't mutually exclusive. It just makes it sweeter being a Pereira fan when he's winning and Adesanya's on the couch milking 1 win till the end of his days.
Just with 1.
I mean, it's hard not to be a fan of the guy that comes from real poverty and had to work his way up since childhood just to support his family, compared to the guy that grew up with servants that's pretending to come from poverty just to be relatable.
They understand what I've been through.
And if that doesn't work, he'll just carry whatever flag he can get his hands on. Pereira being a real underdog story and not just trying to convince everyone he's the underdog to make his real life anime story sound better. And doesn't try so hard to be cool, forcing these cringy one-liners just to be funny. The man doesn't even speak most of the time, and he's shown more charisma than Adesanya ever has in the UFC. And when Pereira's taking on a humble guy like Prohaska, boring press conference, mind you, but he's not forcing some fake beef to act a victim like Adesanya did with Whitaker, or saying some cringy, edgy shit like this.
I'll touch him enough times. And eventually he'll crumble like the Twin Towers.
To me, it's just funny how this man comes in and in 11 MMA fights already achieves what Adesanya dared to be great with, without, you know, without the breast and the cringy one-liners along the way.
And this time when I put you on skates, I'm gonna leave you frozen like Elsa.
Mind you, doing this after becoming a double champion and Hall of Famer in glory already. In conversations for being the greatest combat athlete of all time. And to be fair, this could not have happened, or at least as fast as it did, without Adesanya fast-tracking him all the way to the title shot. Even unintentionally inspiring him with your shit talk.
He watches all my fights, and every time I fight, like clockwork, he'll try and put something out like, I beat this guy. But I've never ever watched any of his fights, ever. So at the end of the day, no one knows who the f he is, and he's gonna be that guy when I'm world champion, when I'm a legend. He's gonna be at some pub, talking some shit about, I beat that guy one time, trying to get a dick sucked from a crack whore or some shit.
And 7,000 miles away, Alex Pereira watched that interview. I don't even know how he found it. It was on YouTube, Sport News Australia, a random interview. He saw that clip, and it motivated him, it ignited him.
Which makes it funny seeing Pereira give, honestly, this generous call out to Adesanya, while instead of taking the offer, tries to have a drop the mic moment. But you know what? It's his loss. Pereira's already becoming one of the most fan favorite fighters on the roster right now. Dude's barely said like 5 words in English. He could be eating a slice of pizza and it turns UFC fans into Taylor Swift fans.